What's up everyone, and welcome to FIFA 16 and more importantly my new career mode. Today I am starting off with Red Bull Leipzig in the Bundesliga 2. Red Bull Leipzig are a team that were literally only formed in 2009. They've had a number of successive promotions through the divisions in Germany, so I'm going to try and take them up into the top division, maybe eventually win the league and who knows, the Champions League or Champions Cup at some point. They have good funding already, like much better than every other team in the Bundesliga 2. So I should have in excess of around 10 or 11 million, whereas every other club seems to have about 1 or 2 million. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage, get in the players that we want and get promoted as quick as we can. As you can see here, I'm just literally finishing off putting in my last couple of details and pieces of information, and we can get straight onto pre-season tournaments. Seeing as all the funding for the pre-season tournaments is similar, I'll just choose the tournament with the highest amount of prize money. So, first things first, after checking a few emails, it's just to look at the team and just to see what we have. We actually have a reasonably good team for a second division side. I'm going to change the formation to a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder because I've got Rani Khedira who will be able to sit there. Generally, the whole entire team is actually very young and they all have a lot of potential, so we shouldn't actually have to buy that much in. So I'm literally just moving around a couple of the players, looking at my bench. We have good attacking options as well. We have Sabitzer and Poulsen up front, who are both very fast. I believe they've got 86 and 87 pace. So that'll be good for rotation purposes. I might just try to bring in maybe 1 or 2 centre backs and then a midfielder as well. I already have a couple of players lined up that I've thought of originally, and we'll take a look at those in just a second when we move on to some transfers. Okay, so now it's time to look at some transfers and see what players we can bring into the club. At the beginning I was just looking at a few players that I believe were going to be free agents. That's Dragovic and Farfan, but I think it might actually be because their clubs aren't in the game, so they get randomly assigned instead to a club, which was a shame because I was hoping I'd be able to pick them up. After this I was just looking at a few players. I was looking at Eder Alvarez Balanta, Jonathan Tah, Lucas Romero, Simone Scuffet, I believe, and I think that was it actually. Oh no, Yuri Tielemans as well. Initially, I just added them to my shortlist and sent inquiries off to see what the teams wanted, so we could get a price and then hopefully negotiate below that price for transfers, or then just submit a loan offer. I very briefly had another quick look just to see if there were any young loan players that I could pick up. However, none of them were really of the ability that could fit straight into our first team or even kind of challenge really, so there's no point. I did have a look quickly in Arsenal to see if we could pick up Hector Bellerin or any of the other players, but the wages would probably be too much for us to handle, so there was no real point, and I doubt they'd actually want to move to the Bundesliga 2 in the first place. Moving on to my shortlist, as you can see the players below are the ones that I talked about. I also forgot to mention Joshua Kimmich, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's now at Bayern, but he did actually move from Red Bull Leipzig last season, or at the end of the year. for a small fee, but we should be able to get him back on loan. Like, at the moment, we don't actually seem to be able to do anything, but we'll try again later on in the season. Next up, it was time to go and look at the transfer list of our squad. I decided to put up Tim Sebastian and our other striker up for transfer because realistically they're not actually going to get much play time at all, and there's no point keeping them in on the wage bill if they're not going to be playing, so we may as well let them go. Quickly moving on after that, I had the first look at training. I literally put a couple of the players on, just auto-simmed it and then let it go, do its own stuff. They all did well, so I'll have a look and try and rearrange it later on in the season. I then submitted a 2-year loan bid for Jonathan Tah and put in bids for Balanta and Romero. The bid for Jonathan Tah was accepted, so it was time to head into the first game of our pre-season tournament.
The start of the European International Cup, the first group stage game of this pre-season tournament. A chance to get his team into the job. Friendly, it's a good way to start.
I won't lie, that game was actually rather boring and not much went on, that's why there weren't that many highlights. But the only issue was that Sabitzer ended up getting injured for 3 whole months. So that was a real downer to take from the game. My offer for Lucas Romero was accepted. I had to put in a new bid for Balanta, but that was really it between matches. So I decided to play Jonathan Tah at centre back and take out Sabitzer for obvious reasons and bring in Yusuf Poulsen up front.
Already we've seen some fireworks in this competition and maybe a few more to come. This is the lineup. Well, they're going to go with 4-3-3 here. And just continue with
Admittedly, we did get kind of lucky with the penalty in that game, but it's all part of it and we did win. So we're sitting about mid-table in the group. We've got 2 games left of the group stage and hopefully we can make it onto the knockout stages of the competition and eventually win it overall. That brings us to the end of the first episode of my Red Bull Leipzig career. I hope you've all enjoyed. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, what I should do in the comments section down below. And yes, next time we will continue on. We'll probably get the last 2 games of the group stage finished and then we'll see where we go from there. So thank you all for watching and I will see you all on the next video.